Welcome back, fellow thrill seekers, to Ghostly Gazette. I hope you've steeled your nerves because tonight we're delving deep into the heart of the wilderness, where the shadows dance beneath the moonlight and every rustle of leaves tells a chilling tale. Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping ride as we bring you not one, not two, but 3 spine-tingling camping stories that will make you question whether the call of the wild is truly a beckoning or a warning. So, grab your flashlight, tighten the straps on your backpack, and join us around the virtual campfire. But beware, for in the solitude of the woods, Ghostly Gazette is about to unveil the mysteries that lurk in the dark corners of the great outdoors. Let the ghostly tales begin. All right, so a couple of months ago, me, Jake, and Sarah decided to break free from the city grind and go camping in this remote forest. It started off as your typical camping trip, tents, a campfire, and the promise of a chill weekend. But trust me, nothing about that night was typical. The first day was a blast. We set up camp, cracked open a few beers, and laughed our way through awful ghost stories. As night fell, the forest came alive with the sounds of crickets and rustling leaves. All good, right? We decided to take a midnight stroll through the woods, thinking it would be some Instagram-worthy adventure. That's when things got strange. The air became thicker, and the usual symphony of nighttime sounds hushed to an eerie silence. No crickets, no owls, just the echo of our footsteps on the forest floor. Sarah, always the skeptic, tried to lighten the mood with jokes, but Jake and I could sense something off. It was like the forest was holding its breath, waiting for something. As we walked deeper, the shadows grew darker, and the path seemed to twist and turn in ways it shouldn't. It felt like we were being watched. I cracked a joke about forest creatures playing hide and seek, but nobody laughed. The unease was palpable. Then, we stumbled upon a clearing, the moonlight barely penetrating the thick canopy above. In the center, there was this weird old cabin. Like, where did that come from? None of us remembered passing it on our way in. Against our better judgment, we went inside. The air inside was stale, and the only light came from the moon sneaking through the dusty windows. The cabin felt frozen in time, with old furniture draped in white sheets, like the owners just up and left one day. Sarah, always the daredevil, found a dusty old photo album. As she flipped through the pages, the atmosphere grew colder. The photos were of families, happy and smiling, but there was something off about their eyes, an unsettling emptiness. That's when Jake noticed it. The date on the newspaper clippings scattered around. They were ancient, like from the 1940s or something. We started to feel like we'd stepped into a ghost town frozen in time. As we explored, the silence outside became deafening. No more rustling leaves or distant wildlife. Just the creaking of the old cabin and the echoes of our footsteps. Then came the bone-chilling twist. Sarah, still flipping through that eerie photo album, stumbled upon a picture that made our blood run cold. It was us, Jake, Sarah, and me, in the same clothes we were wearing that night, smiling, but with those same vacant eyes. We freaked out, trying to make sense of it, but the forest had other plans. The cabin's creaking intensified, and the shadows seemed to close in around us. The door slammed shut, trapping us inside. That's when we heard it, the laughter of children. High-pitched, distant, and haunting. We peeked through the dusty windows and saw them, ghostly children playing outside, their laughter echoing through the silent night. In a panic, we tried to force the door open. It felt like the forest itself was resisting, as if it didn't want us to leave. The laughter grew louder, and the air inside the cabin turned frigid. Just when it seemed like we were stuck in some twisted time loop, the door swung open, and we stumbled out into the cold night. The laughter faded, and the forest returned to its usual sounds. We hightailed it back to our campsite, packed up, and got the hell out of there. To this day, we can't explain what happened in that cabin, but one thing's for sure. The forest has secrets, and some paths are best left unexplored. So, last summer, my old man thought it'd be a grand idea for us to go camping. Father-son bonding and all that. Little did we know, it was about to turn into one heck of a horror show. We found this spot deep in the woods, surrounded by trees that whispered in the wind. The kind of place that feels serene during the day but plays tricks on your mind at night. We set up the tent, started a fire, and everything seemed normal. But as the night set in, things got downright bizarre. The wind rustled through the leaves, and my dad, always the cautious type, had this look, like he was hearing something else. I chalked it up to his overprotective nature, and didn't think much of it. When the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest came alive with sounds. Crickets, owls hooting in the distance, the usual camping symphony. We were chilling by the fire when I noticed shadows dancing between the trees. Dad saw it too, but dismissed it as the fire playing tricks on us. Then came the footsteps, slow and deliberate. Dad, trying to be the hero, grabbed a flashlight, and we went to investigate. I tagged along, figuring it was just some curious animals. We reached the edge of the clearing, and that's when things got weird. The footsteps, they were right behind us now. We spun around, shining the flashlight into the darkness. Nothing. Just the sounds of footsteps in sync with ours. Dad said something about echoes and told me to head back to the tent. But I wasn't backing down. I wanted to prove I could handle it, teenage bravado. As we ventured deeper, the footsteps persisted, always a beat behind ours. The moon cast weird shadows, and that's when we stumbled upon an open field, surrounded by dense trees. In the middle of the field, we saw something odd, a silhouette that mirrored our movements. It was like looking into a dark mirror. Dad mumbled about tricks of the light, but the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. We decided to head back to the tent, but the footsteps continued, and the shadows seemed to multiply. The air got colder, and I felt eyes on us, unseen but definitely there. Dad, still trying to play it cool, led us back to the tent. But here's where it gets freaky. When we got back, we saw ourselves sitting by the fire. Same clothes, same expressions, everything identical. Dad, ever the rational guy, said it was a prank. But I could feel the hairs on my neck standing. We could hear our echoes, our voices, and the footsteps outside the tent. We zipped that tent so fast, you'd think it was a race. The echoes persisted, and I swear sometimes they were louder than us. We whispered plans to leave at first light, not daring to make a sound. As the night stretched on, the echoes played with our minds. It was like a twisted game, a mimicry that went beyond the realm of normal. And just as dawn broke, the echoes faded away. We packed up without saying a word and left that forest behind. Dad never brought it up, and honestly, I don't want to relive it. But sometimes, when I'm out in the quiet, I catch the faintest hint of footsteps. Echoes from that night. A reminder that the woods hold secrets that mimic the bravest of campers. Alright, so this happened a while back. Me and my buddy Mike decided to embark on a camping trip. We were all about nature, escaping the city chaos for a bit. Turned out nature had some weird plans for us. We found this spot in the deep woods, far from any signs of civilization. The trees were so thick, it felt like we entered another dimension. Set up the tent, lit a fire, cracked open a couple of cold ones. Everything was cool until the sun took its last bow. Night crept in, and with it, an odd vibe settled over the forest. I chalked it up to the usual spookiness you get in the woods at night, but Mike, he was on edge. I could see it in the way he kept glancing over his shoulder like he expected something to jump out. We tried to shake off the unease, shooting the breeze by the fire. That's when we noticed it, the echo. Every sound we made, every word we spoke, it echoed back, but not like normal. It was like the forest had its own twisted way of repeating our words, as if it had a mind of its own. We laughed it off, blamed it on the wind playing tricks. But the echo got stranger. It started distorting our words, turning our jokes into eerie, distorted versions of themselves. I could feel the hair on my neck standing up, but Mike, he got this weird look in his eyes like he was trying to decipher some secret code. Then, out of the blue, a voice echoed through the trees. Not ours, mind you. It was like a third player joined the conversation. The voice was low, guttural, speaking in a language that sent shivers down our spines. Mike swore it sounded familiar, like something he heard in a dream. We scanned the woods, thinking it was some prank or maybe another camper nearby. But the voice seemed to surround us, bouncing off the trees in a way that made it impossible to pinpoint the source. The echo played with our minds, distorting reality. Mike, brave or maybe just stubborn, decided to follow the echo. He walked into the trees, calling out like he was talking to an old friend. I tried to stop him, told him it was a bad idea, but he brushed me off with that determined look. I stayed by the fire, the echo growing louder, more distorted. It was like the forest itself was mocking me, playing with my senses. Then it hit me. The echo wasn't random. It was mimicking our past conversations word for word. My heart raced as I realized Mike's voice was now part of the twisted chorus. He was lost in the echo, his words becoming distorted echoes of echoes. Panic set in, and I stumbled back, realizing I was alone in a forest that seemed to remember every sound it ever heard. I never found Mike. The echo faded, leaving me with the unsettling feeling that the forest had absorbed him, made him a part of its bizarre symphony. I stumbled out of there, haunted by the distorted echoes that followed me. So here's my testimony, a warning to anyone thinking of camping in those woods. Nature's got its own strange language, and if you're not careful, it might just add your voice to its eerie symphony. And there you have it. Courageous souls. 3 tales that blur the line between the natural and the supernatural, echoing through the haunted echoes of the wilderness. If these stories sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your fellow campfire enthusiasts. Subscribe to Ghostly Gazette for more hair-raising adventures, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we venture into the unknown once again. Leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts and your own eerie camping experiences. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the eerie depths of the forest. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay spooky, and may your campfire always burn bright in the face of the unknown. This is Ghostly Gazette, signing off from the heart of the wilderness.